What's going on, Fizz Nation? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for stopping by again this week. Y'all, we are almost there. Including this week, we have 2 reviews left for the year. Time really does fly when you're having fun, right? So, quick bit of housekeeping before we get started. While this week's review and next week's review are going to be the last 2 reviews for the year, we will still have one last video for you before the year ends. That's going to be the 2024 Fizzy Awards. So if you're watching this channel and you are not subscribed yet, please make sure to get subscribed. I really actually do need at least one person to get subscribed because we're currently dealing with this number and I do not want to go into 2025 cursed. But that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into this week's review. We've got ourselves a bit of an international flavor this week, Fizz Nation. Now, I don't know that you can specifically call this a holiday flavor because it actually is available year-round, but the flavor actually does seem pretty festive. Let me explain. This is Freez Mix Pomegranate. And the reason this is an international flavor is because it's a product of Lebanon. Now, this brand has actually been around since the early 2000s, although they originally called themselves Freez Soda. It was only in 2016 that they rebranded to Freez Mix, which is what they're known as today. Now, they've got a whole range of really interesting looking fruit flavors. You can find them on their website. Link is in the description down below. But I was able to get my hands on this back in August of this year. I've been holding on to it ever since. I wasn't exactly sure when or how I was going to get this fit in, but here's my reasoning for doing it now. A number of weeks ago, we tried 7-Up's limited edition holiday flavor, Shirley Temple. Card above my head in case you missed that review. And I remember thinking that the number one issue I had with that flavor is while it billed itself to have pomegranate flavor in it, I didn't really detect a lot of pomegranate in that. While I was editing that review, I remembered that I had this. This is supposedly a purely pomegranate flavored soda. And I remember when I picked this up, I was just like, I don't think I've ever had one of those before, so I really want to try this. So that's how we ended up here today. So having established all the context, let's go ahead and get right into the content that you guys are here to see. Let's go ahead and pop the top, give it the old sniff test. Now we're doing something a little different this time because I've never seen this before. It's got one of these little kind of pull rings that you're supposed to pull up, and that's how this opens. So let's go ahead and try that. See if I can get there. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that just popped right off, didn't it? Yeah, it just peels right up there, and then the cap is free. So let's go ahead and give it the old sniff test and see what it tells us. Okay, that's not really all that promising because this smells exactly like NyQuil. I know that because I caught the flu on Thanksgiving, and for the next 10 days, I ingested a lot of NyQuil. And that unfortunately is exactly what this smell is reminding me of. But as we know, the sniff test is only gonna get us so far. Let's go ahead and grab our trusty glass with ice, give it the old pour, and let's get a look at it. Oh, okay, so it is not as dark of a color as I originally thought. It's more of this kind of pink rosé color. Get a load of that. Yeah, it just looks like just a light pink rosé color. It's got some decent carbonation to it, but we've smelled it, we've seen it. Now it's time to go and toss back and see what it tastes like. Here's to you. Okay, so I think I see what they're trying to do here. There is a very light pomegranate flavor to this, but emphasis on light. Like the flavor in this is only slightly stronger than like a LaCroix. The star of the show in this is basically the carbonation. But my problem with the flavor here is not only is it not particularly strong, it also does taste obviously artificial. And I think that's kind of why it's reminding me of a cough syrup. Now, the ingredients list does tell me that it has both natural and artificial pomegranate flavor in it. It also tells me that it is sweetened by beet sugar. I do not ever recall having tried something that is sweetened with beet sugar. I don't really know much about it, but what I will say is the product is not particularly sweet. Now, that said, this is an international flavor. Most other countries do not sweeten their soft drinks to the severity that we do in the States. Most of our drinks are sweetened with either high fructose corn syrup or pure cane sugar, and also a bunch of other artificial sweeteners for our diet and 0-calorie sodas. So what we're ending up with here is just a very kind of lightly sweetened, lightly flavored soda water, which I don't necessarily mind per se, but I know for me, I have to be in the mood for it. And usually that entails knowing that that's what I'm about to drink. Obviously does not apply here. Okay, so what do I think of Freez Mix Pomegranate Soda? I gotta say, it's pretty different in both good and not so good ways. Obviously, as an American, my palate is conditioned to much sweeter drinks with much stronger flavor profiles. So every time I try one of these international flavors, I have to get myself into the mindset that that ain't gonna be what this is, 9 times out of 10. The flavor and the sweetness experience is very much less intense. But I think my main hang-up here is the flavor itself, while not being particularly strong, also doesn't taste particularly pleasant. Like, it's fine, but you can definitely detect the artificial nature of it. And the artificial nature of it, unfortunately, leans more in the cough syrup direction than a lightly sweetened soft drink direction. However, the drinking experience itself is pretty refreshing because it is a very well carbonated drink. If I knew I was in the mood to drink a soda water and I chose this while I was in that mood, I would consider that to be a very pleasant experience. But the problem is I picked up one of these not really in the mood for a soda water. I picked up one of these looking for a soft drink experience, and that's not exactly what this is giving me. So it is because of that I'm gonna go ahead and give Freez Mix Pomegranate Soda 2.5 out of 5 sips. I understand what it's trying to do and what it's trying to be, but it's just not really for me. And as always, that is just my opinion. I would love to know yours. Have you ever heard of this before? Have you tried it? Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. All right, Fizz Nation, that's gonna go ahead and do it for me. Thank you so much for stopping by once again this week. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit that like button. It really helps us out a lot. And if you don't want to miss the last couple of videos we have for this year, make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell so you don't miss any notifications for future videos. I'm gonna get out of here and finish this up. You guys have an awesome week, and we will see you next time.